So I was in with a client recently. Um, I generally don't take any more in-person clients, but this particular one, we were out on my porch, which is well ventilated, and it was a warm enough day, and we had our masks on and all that. Anyway, it was a long session, like a 4 or 5 hour session, as many of my sessions are for those clients who want that, so we can move it along and get results now rather than a year or 2 years from now. And we were about halfway through, and we decided, good time for a potty break. She gets up, goes to the bathroom. I get a little more coffee. Bring in more water and some snacks, whatever. And she came back in, and as I came back in, she said, "Sven, can I ask you a personal question?" I said, "Yeah, of course." I'm an open book with my clients. I very often talk about my own self, my own mistakes and problems and things I've struggled with in life. I talk about my relationships that I've had, as you've seen in these videos. Talk about parenting and my failures as a parent, and talk about my parents and all the wisdom I learned from them, my siblings, etc., etc. I try to be an open book, and the reason for that is we learn from other people's mistakes. And I've been so fucking excellent at making so many fucking mistakes in this lifetime that, hey, there's so much room for them to learn. But that's also why I don't judge my clients. I'm the last motherfucker who can be judging anyone, because I've made far more mistakes than you fucking ever will, nor than any of my clients will. So I can't judge. I'm just here to help you become who the fuck you are, is what I always tell my clients. Anyhow, she said, "Sven, I'm just curious, and it's personal, but it's a professional question. How do you decide who you say no to, Sven? How do you decide who you're not going to give counseling to, or who you're not going to give a reduced rate to? I know you don't do that very much anymore, giving a reduced rate or giving free counseling, because I know I told her before that I spent years counseling people on the street, counseling the homeless and drug-addled people, and I was a pastor for years, and I wasn't making shit for money. I've done this work. I do this work because I fucking love the work, not because I'm making grand money at it. I make great money now, but I've fucking earned the right. And I know that if I change these people's lives who are in positions of influence, the residual effect is they'll change many lives as well. So she said, "Sven, I'm just curious, how do you decide who to say no to? It has to be hard because you're constantly being bombarded with people with problems and pain and so forth." And she said, "I know it, you don't turn them down because you're a dick, but because you have to. I mean, you are a dick, Sven, but that's not the reason you turn them down." I told her to fuck off. True story. Anyway, I said, "No, that's a legit question." And I said, it boils down to one thing. All of it boils down to one thing. In those rare cases where I take on someone who's not able to pay the fee, I do it for only one reason. It's because I feel it with this particular person. I get plenty of people who come to me with pain and who have hard life stories. And, I feel all their pain, but I can't help them all. But in certain situations, whether someone's a combat veteran or someone literally is dirt poor, occasionally I'll take it on because that particular person on that particular day, for whatever fucking reason, spoke to my soul. It's not just that I felt their pain. That happens with all my clients. And all the people that I don't counsel, I still feel their pain. But I trust my inner voice. And what I mean by that is, how does it feel? Does it feel right? So I was telling her this, and she said, "That's what you're working on with me, Sven, isn't it?" I said, "That's absolutely right." I said, because the feel, as I've talked about in other videos, I talk about this notion of getting in connection with your feel. The feel rises up from within you as a ping. Just a ping, a pulse, like a ping on a sonar of a submarine. It's just that. It starts as that. And if we don't respond to it, if we don't act on our own voice when it's quiet, that still, small voice, if we don't act on it, it gets louder. Things begin to go awry inside of us, more stress, more depression, more anxiety. And if we still don't listen to it, if we still don't let go of that which we think is secure, whether it's a relationship or a career or whatever it might be, if we still hold on to it, our soul creates greater pain. The soul is more powerful than the will, and shit begins to go even more and more awry outside of us because there's so much dissonance inside of us. And so, what it means to trust your feel, it means you've gone down the road enough times of not trusting that ping when it's just a ping. You've gone down the road enough times of denying it, even when it's talking in its inside voice, even when it's shouting, and you've seen shit spiral out of control so many fucking times that you begin to listen sooner Maybe when it's talking, it's inside voice. And the goal is to eventually get to the point where you feel that ping, that feel, that vibe. Something's off. Or that vibe of, this feels right. You begin to trust it more and more in sooner stages. Why? Because you've gone through the pain of shit going out of control when you don't trust it. See, the thing is what it really boils down to then is that feel. When I feel that feel, it then requires the courage to say no. It requires the courage to look someone else in the face when they're experiencing pain and to be able to say no. And I learned this the hard way. Back when I was in ministry, I would just say yes, yes, yes. I would counsel everyone. I would do everything. And my own energy would burn out. It's inevitable. I have one of my brothers is hospice cancer care, and he's been doing that for 30 years. The burnout rate in that industry, holy shit. I have another brother who's a nurse. The burnout in nursing, oh my God. You have to protect your energy, and you have to engage in what I call spiritual disciplines. Exercise, time alone, eating right, good rest, just downtime, sitting on your fat fucking ass watching, cartoons, whatever. It takes all of these things to replenish your own fucking love cup so that you have love to pour out to others in whatever form you give love. In my case, it's counseling and writing and speaking. So I have to be able to say no. And you want to talk about the fucking hard stuff of life. Saying no is really at or very near the top. Plenty of people can say yes to what their dreams are, what they really want in life. And you can go after those dreams, but if you're carrying around 500-pound bags of rocks on your back of all the crud that's still in your life and all the negative voices or all the whatever, if you've never said no and cut those out of your life or radically reduced them, then you're going to run out of fucking energy, all right? And it's easy to do when we're young because those rocks are still piling up. But your energy decreases and decreases and decreases because you're carrying around all this negative crud until you have the courage to whisper the word no the very first time. And get in the practice of giving yourself permission to say no that which is inconsistent with who you are, until you have the courage to whisper the no and eventually begin to speak the word no and eventually be able to shout the word no to the heavens. This is not who I am. I will no longer engage in this. I will no longer have this relationship or go down this path. Until you have the courage to have that, all you will have inside is unrest, anxiety, depression. And you will never accomplish your true greatness, let alone ever have peace or happiness. And so I get asked a lot, well, what does it take to say no? How? How do you reach the point of giving yourself permission? How do you learn to say no? Because, just as an aside, once you start saying no and cutting out, pushing back the voices in your life, cutting them out or radically reducing their impact, what happens is your own voice effortlessly rises up from within. That feel effortlessly rises up from within. And not just in the big stuff. Sometimes the big decisions are easy. But the more you trust it in the big stuff, in the medium stuff, then you begin to trust it in the little stuff. And that's where you've mastered it. Because we most tend to compromise ourselves in all the little things where we say, it's no big deal. Yeah, sure. Oh, sure. Yeah, okay. Oh, I'll make the best of it. Oh, I'll find the positive in it. Oh, I'll be grateful for what I do have. And you do that enough times of compromising yourself in all those small fucking things. You get down the road and you realize, wait a minute. Yeah, I can make the best of it, but this is not the fucking life I actually want. I'm just making the best of something. And the way we learn to say no, that first time we whisper the word no and really feel it and know it and mean it. There are many ways to get there, sure. There's the proactive, deliberate going to counseling, or for instance, working for those of you that are working on my online video courses on my website, the do-it-yourself badass. Or maybe you've got a great counselor, or maybe you found some other set of books that are really taking you deep and helping you clear out those voices and the crud and the bullshit beliefs that you've been taught about yourself and about life. Those are ways to get to the point of having permission, giving yourself permission, and having the courage to say no, not just in the big things, but in the medium and the small things too. And it takes time. But what I have found more often than not that gives people the permission to say no, that brings them to the point where they're ready to begin to say no to all the voices they've been saying yes to their entire lives, that they never had were allowed to have boundaries, that they were never allowed to hear their own voice. In fact, that they were taught their own fucking voice can't be trusted. Don't trust your own voice. You listen to me, I'm the parent, or I'm the one who raised you, or I'm your friends, or I'm fucking society. You listen to me, don't listen to your own voice. You ever want to fuck a kid up? That's the way to do it. Teach them not to hear their own voice. Teach them that you know what's best for them better than they do. And never let go of that belief system. Teach them to teen years and into their 20s that they should listen to you instead of themselves. You want to fuck a kid up? That's the way to do it. Oh yeah, they'll be knocking on my fucking door when they're about 28 or 42. Oh yeah, oh fuck yeah. I make my money off shitty parenting like that, okay? And I've got parenting videos, and it's in the book as well if you want more tips on parenting. But back to this. Because you were never given permission to say no, because you were never given permission, or very little given permission to trust your own voice, you now come to life and you're living a life that's sucking the fucking life out of you, okay? And what happens is, and this is where the rubber hits the road. This is the really fucking interesting point. In my book and in past writings and with my clients, I call it the fuck it point. The funny thing about pain is it gets so great. We've gone down that road so many times of not listening to our own voice. We've come through life not trusting our own voice, but trying to please everybody else's voice, or at least avoid their fucking criticism. We've done that long enough. And the pain is accrued, and pain comes in many fucking forms. Disappointment, frustration, betrayal, money pain, spiritual pain, physical pain. Yes, your internal spiritual stuff begins to take a toll on your physical body, right? Anxiety and stress are two light versions of it. But anyway, you've gone down that road enough, and the pain has accumulated, and you've got more and more rocks on your back, dragging you the fuck down, your energy going down and down and down. People's criticisms and people's expectations, and constantly responding to others when they say the word should. My mom told me back when I was a teenager, she said, Sven, I realized that I need to banish the word should from my vocabulary. Only in the rarest of cases. She said, because should implies that I know what's best for you. Should, when I tell you, and I was the last of her 6 kids, when I tell you, you should, Sven, what I'm telling you is don't listen to your inner voice. Okay? So if you've had enough of that should, been should on enough in your life, and you've had pain develop and all of this from living other people's version of your life, as that pain accrues, you reach what's called the fuck it point. And it's not the fuck it point of, gee, I'm gonna go fucking kill myself, okay? No, it's the fuck it point of, I'm fucking sick of listening to all those voices. It's fucking time. I'm just sick of it. I don't even care what they think anymore. It's time to live my life. And if that fuck it point is right here, okay? All that pain has been accumulating your whole life. And the odd thing about pain is once we hit that fuck it point, and fuck it isn't something you think. It's not even something you believe. It's just something you know. It just happens. If you have to think about it, you're not there yet. And your pain is going to get worse. It is. That's just how it works. But the pain gets so big that it gives you, once you reach that fuck point, it's like, fuck it, I'm done with this shit. I'm done with their shit. And I'm gonna begin clearing out the crud, clearing out those fucking voices, right? Once you reach that fucking point, all of a sudden you have the courage to do today, now, right after the fucking point, you have the courage to do today what just yesterday or the day before you didn't have the strength to do. You didn't have the courage to do because you feared the ramifications, the blowback, right? But once you reach that fucking point where it's like, fuck it, I don't even care what you guys think anymore. I gotta begin to hear me, which means cutting out that which is not me, or at least radically reducing that which is undermining my fucking life, or that which is acting as one of those rocks in that 500-pound bag of rocks on my back. And from that moment forward, we begin to whisper. We begin to have the courage and permission. We give ourselves permission because we've never gotten the external permission to say no. It's not just the yes to go after your dreams. Yes, you have the permission to go after your dreams. It's not that. It's the no to cut out those rocks in that bag of rocks in your back, to cut out those voices and bullshit beliefs that you've been taught about yourself and about life, to cut out the fears. We begin to whisper, and this is such a courageous act, begin to whisper no within us, and that no rises up. And it becomes a spoken no, and it becomes a shouted no to the heavens. No, this is my life. No, I don't want that life anymore. That is not who I am. No, God damn it, no. And we begin, in that act, we begin to clear away the crud. And it was the pain that gave us the strength to fucking do it. How fucking ironic is that? So when you run from your pain, or just try to avoid your pain, you're running from the very solution. You're running from the goddamn cure to this cancer that's inside of you. And that no rises up. And you begin to say no in the big things more. And you begin to say no in the medium things, and you begin to say no even in the small things. And this takes time. This is real master level shit here, man. This is like fucking Zen, super Jesus, fucking whatever. I mean, like spiritual master type shit, but you'll get there. The more you listen to yourself, your own inner voice, the more you're clearing out that crud. And it's not even listening to yourself. The more you feel that which is not you. That's what I wanted to say. And clear that crud out and say no to it and push it back, reduce it, or eliminate it completely. The more you do that, you know what happens? Your own inner yes to your authentic life, your own self, your authentic voice begins to effortlessly bubble up from within. That's why I always tell people, you don't, in the end, go find yourself. You don't discover yourself as if it's out there. It's inside of you. You allow yourself. You don't find yourself. You allow yourself by removing that which is not you. And that's ballsy shit. That's really fucking ballsy shit. That's where the fucking rubber hits the road. Do you have the courage to remove that which is not you? Do you have the courage to whisper the word no? And it takes courage, because people are going to be disappointed. You are going to lose people, some of whom you thought might be with you forever. You are going to lose the security of that which you've been holding on to for so long, whether it's a path, a person, or a purpose. And that's scary shit. And that's where a lot of people will abort the counseling with me. They don't want to have to say no. But I coach them, coax them through it. I hold their hand, and I help them understand that this is the path. This is the only path to the happiness and the greatness that they seek. And so I guess my question to you is, have you reached the fuck it point yet? And if you have to think about it, you haven't, and your pain's gonna get worse. Your pain is pushing you to your very fucking solution. Do you see that? Am I resonating? Does this fucking make any sense here? And I applaud you. For those of you that are doing the courses, or that are, you know, working through my book, or even those that are in counseling, or those that I don't even fucking know. When do you begin to have the courage to go into your shit? When do you begin to start journaling, going deeper, deeper, deeper? When do you have the courage to get yourself a kick-ass therapist, if there's one out there for you? When do you have the courage to begin to say, I need to root out the shit in my life, the crud, the bullshit beliefs, and the people who are dragging me the fuck down? So I applaud you. If you're even considering it, I applaud you. If you've begun the journey a bit, I applaud you, because I know how fucking hard it is. I did it in my own life. I do it with clients every single fucking day, but it requires the courage. It requires you fundamentally saying, I matter. I matter. Who I really am matters, not just the function I'm playing in somebody else's life, the role I'm playing for them, and they give me love as long as I play that role. No, the real question is, do you matter? Does your authentic voice fucking matter? And I hope somewhere in you, if there's not a resounding hell yes, I hope there's at least a whisper of yes. Yes. That means it's time to begin the process. And if you don't begin the process, again, the pain will accumulate, and it will drive you to that fuck it point. And that'll get you there. Yeah, it's a bit more of a painful way to go, but it works. It works. So I wish you only the very best, and I applaud you as you endeavor this spiritual journey that you are on to become your fullest, most authentic self, full of happiness, peace, clarity, and on the path to the greatness you seek. Have a kick-ass day.